Hey, what's going on, guys? This is your boy ONLYMATTYG, and this is gonna be the first episode for my new series, MATTYG Daily, where I'm gonna be talking about today's news and the hottest topics, while also giving you my honest opinion and also giving you, the viewers, insightful info about these topics and what the media thinks of it and what I think of it. Because I think it's very good to gauge have an open mind and gauge what people think of different things, because each person has their own respective opinion. I think that's what I like about this world sometimes, is that you can hear different sides of the story from different sides of people. So with that being said, there's going to be a lot of insightful info that I'm going to be talking about today, and I think you guys are going to enjoy it. So with that being said, let's get into the video. All right, guys. So Matty G here. So to start off, we're gonna talk about something that actually came out today, and that was that the FBI, they finally made an arrest on the whole like leak Pentagon documents scenario or thing that's been going on right now. So essentially, you guys didn't know, like over the past couple days, um, there's been these leaks of these classified documents. With most of them pertaining to about the war in Ukraine. Now, the Pentagon has actually came out before and said that the numbers or the information that's classified or specified in those documents doesn't actually represent the accurate numbers now of the war, but at some point did. And um, what I was gonna say is that uh, it's kind of weird how, well, all of a sudden, like, whoa, how come all these documents started becoming leaked? That definitely caused some concern for the Pentagon and for government officials. So finally, as of today, the FBI, they made an arrest, and they arrested Air National Guardsman Jack Teixeira, and he's expected to be due in court on Friday. And basically, it's interesting because now this seems like the government, it seems like they have a lead in terms of who they think is responsible for the leaks in the first place. And it's kind of interesting, how this all like just happens in like a matter of days, and how it's like, whoa, like now it's like kind of crazy, how there's just all of a sudden got an arrest. So yeah, this guy, they're claiming, he's responsible for leaking these documents, uh, you know, and transmitting these leaked documents that have classified national defense information. And pretty much, I mean, even when you just go into this article, it just it seems like you know he definitely was getting himself in a little bit of trouble, because I mean, when you leak documents like that, definitely it's not a good thing for the cyber systems, and definitely for just the security network, especially for the U.S. I mean, just having like, I think it's just in the public as a whole, having some sensitive information leaked, because that could have been anything on those documents. It could have been death tolls. It could have been info on like supply weaponry being shipped to Ukraine, or how much aid and money was being spent in the war effort. Just putting sensitive, like having sensitive information about that. And it wasn't even just Ukraine war. It was also about other wars like the Middle East and stuff with China, Russia. So I mean, just having information like that, definitely it's not a good look for the Pentagon. It's not a good look for the U.S. And that's why I think right now it's kind of just a whole of, yeah, we got to just get this cleaned up. We're gonna have them in court. I'm a firm believer in the fact that innocent until proven guilty. So I mean, this guy, still has to go through the whole trial and everything. Has to be proven guilty. Once proven guilty, then we know for sure he's the man. He's responsible for it. He could do his time, take on the punishment that he needs to. Till then, you have to go through the whole legal thing. So honestly, I have no other say on it, other than yeah, it's interesting how this whole went down. Uh, Pentagon, obviously, pretty sure it wasn't happy. Um, U.S. in general probably weren't happy with that. So I mean, yeah, we'll see where that goes. Now, on to the other thing I was going to talk about today was this. Indiana recycling facility had been cited for fire hazards years before this week's massive blaze. So if you guys didn't know, today, an Indiana recycling facility caught fire and pretty much released a bunch of toxic fumes into the air. Now, it's not a good thing, too, when you have residents near the city reporting snow like debris falling and a taste of chemicals in the air. I don't think that's necessarily a good thing you want to hear from the residents. And again, especially in this world, toxic chemicals released to the air. I mean, pollution, air pollution, that's just bad already. I mean, if you just see worldwide, man, there's just a bunch of damage that the atmosphere is taking on in the environment just from air pollution alone. And that's only like one form of pollution. There's so much other forms of pollution that, you know, just having this continue, it's just not a good thing. And I mean, definitely want to protect the planet. I mean, this is not a good thing to have. Now, this is more of an interesting scenario because I looked into it more, and it seems as though, it's kind of uncertainty of over who is responsible. Because if he doesn't know, thousands of residents had to be evacuated over the toxic fumes. But then there's been an iffy history between the owner of the facility, Seth Smith, and the city officials, city of Richmond, and they've kind of been at odds for a couple of years. And then even when the mayor came out today and commented on the situation, he says that the business is fully responsible for the fire. But what's more interesting is that some residents are actually blaming the city and saying that ever since the city took over the facility, they should be responsible for maintaining the facility instead of the previous ownership. But at the same time, it wasn't the city's idea to violate several code violations set by Seth Smith, including excessive amounts of combustible plastics, faulty sprinkler systems, and no fire suppression system. I mean, especially when you talk about a facility that's holding tons of combustible plastics, you gotta at least have a functioning sprinkler system and a fire suppression system, man. I mean, if you don't have those things, I mean, it's like, come on, what are you doing? That's just my hot take. That's just my take. I'm not saying it's not even a hot take. I mean, that place, even right here, it says it could contain asbestos. Even now, the EPA, they're trying to test for other toxins. So you don't want a situation like this. That's why I'm praying for this residents there, because right here it even says smoke could contain cancer-causing toxins. You just don't want stuff like that releasing into the air. It's not a good thing. Um, Other than that, what else we're gonna talk about today, guys? This is interesting. This is another thing I want to get to. So, if you guys didn't know, this is regards in the whole TikTok, being banned in America. Is TikTok actually going to get banned or not? Me personally, I don't know, but human rights groups, specifically, I would say more so TikTok activists, are starting to come out. They're showing out. As see here, a picture of some of the activists of Washington D.C. They're coming out because they're basically saying that, this whole TikTok being banned, it's violating their free speech rights. But not only that, but they're also arguing that, will it really secure Americans' privacy? Because I mean, although TikTok, yeah, it could impede ruin the Americans' privacy or of their private life, but there's already just going on the internet alone, it's already a risk because you're already exposing your information out there just browsing on the web. And there's just tons of websites too that could they just use they people they just still they use your find your data and without them even knowing, or even just going on other social media apps too. Like they have your data and information on there. So I mean, it's not just TikTok, but main thing is that they're trying to argue, keep TikTok because that's a free speech. It's guaranteed in the First Amendment. It's First Amendment right. You have the freedom of speech. Even being able to petition, they have, even just standing here right now holding up the signs, keep TikTok. You have the right to do that. You have the right to protest, peacefully protest, as long as it abides by law. You can do it. As far as my stance on it, I think it's a great thing that people are, they're advocating for their First Amendment rights, and their free speech rights. And I think, TikTok, there are some people that, that's actually like their job, and they make money. I can also see from the other sides of things how people could think it's a security breach, but not only that, but TikTok too, it's definitely plagued some of the younger generation. And even speaking from a younger generation side of things, there's definitely been some trends or info that's been appearing on TikTok that may be false or misleading. So I don't know. As of me right now, personally, I would say that I'm kind of like 50-50 on it. I think people should be able to make content on TikTok as long as it isn't guiding the youth and isn't misleading younger children into doing bad things. Then I think it should be perfectly fine. Because I think the main thing government real is arguing is that they don't like is that it's a Chinese-based app, and I think that's the main thing because the U.S. and China, definitely are kind of like on and off terms most of the time sometimes. So that's the main thing, right? I mean, when it comes to that. So other than that, there's really nothing else to say. One last thing too I want to mention is that Fort Lauderdale, they've been experiencing 25 inches of rain recently. So as a result, like their whole city and everything's been flooded. And again, this kind of leads back to my point though, is that I think at least in my take, I think that this definitely could be a result of climate change. And me personally, I think because especially when you're describing it as a once in every 1,000 to 2,000 years storm. I mean, definitely could be a result of climate change. You don't just get all that rain for nothing. Now you could, but I mean, again, climate change. Scientists say you're getting stronger weather patterns at more random, uh, inconsistent times. So yeah, I mean that's my take at least on it. But I hope people get the help there too. Florida's they've been always known for getting hit with the storms. But I mean this one wasn't really more so hurricane, more just a lot of rain. But yeah, I mean that's all I would say, guys. I mean with that, I think that was a lot of info today. Definitely some interesting topics for the day. But with that being said, guys, this is Matty G. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go now. But this is fun talking about these topics. Definitely very interesting. And I will see you guys on the next episode. Peace.